Did you know that on Monday you can listen to the Streakers On podcast powered by Streakers Gaming? Clearly you do because you're listening. So welcome to the show, everyone. It is I, Jacob Moore, the self-proclaimed sports analyst. You might be thinking, where's Chazzy? You know what? We don't know. So make sure if you find him, post it and take a picture of him. It's going to become the new Where's Waldo. It's going to be Where's Chazzy. Sounds way better than Waldo, and he's a much better dresser, has a much nicer nose. Anyways, I am joined by Mr. More for Your Money. Woo! And the one, the only, the most dashing man you will ever see on your screen and hear. Like, he's so dashing. You hear his voice, you know he's good looking. It's your boy, Lane Dashing Dashko.
I don't know if that equates, but yes. I don't know if that's been scientifically proven, but...
You're scientifically proven. Just saying.
I guess I am.
Yeah, you're here. Science can prove it. Bill Nye the Science Guy could prove you exist. Now, let's get to our topics for the show this week. Week 6 in the CFL wrapped up, and to be honest, not exactly what we were expecting in a lot of ways this week. So we're going to break it down. Trey Ford couldn't go for 50 yards. What does that mean for Edmonton? We are also going to rank the top 10 players in the CFL after 6 weeks. So these are my top 10 players. I'll see if Lane and Mr. Morfor agree or think I'm out to lunch. The Leafs traded Ryan Reaves. I don't care. Dan does, so we're going to talk about it.
Why?
Why not? The Toronto Blue Jays forgot that they need to play well every game, and they now lost a series against the A's that they should have won. Is this a big concern, or is this a fluke? We're going to get into that. Another goalie went off the NHL trade market. And to be blunt, I can't believe Edmonton didn't pick him up. So we're going to discuss that. I'm going to go over the CFL Power Rankings for the week.
Power!
Lane is going to be talking some wrestling. And I will smile and nod. Dan, you don't really punch like that in wrestling. This isn't boxing.
Well, I punch like this.
For anyone just listening at Spotify, I'm not even going to tell you what he was doing. You're just hearing going, rope. Anyways, let's get right into week 6 of the CFL. And I actually want to start with the BC Lions versus the Edmonton Elks. And I want to start with the biggest question in the room before we kind of talk about everything in this game. Should Trey Ford be the starter still?
No.
Everyone on TSN said yes because they feel he's your future. Cody Fajardo did, when he went in, he did go 5 for 7, 78 yards and a touchdown. Trey Ford was 4 for 12, 34 yards and a pick. And
I'm sorry, Lane. I'm going to apologize to you ahead of time because I know you love Trey Ford.
I know.
And as a human being, I'm sure he's a great person. But as a football player, I'm going to go on a little rant here.
Oh, full
as
screen.
A football player.
Yeah,
full screen, please. As a football player in the CFL, that's supposed to be a franchise quarterback. I have been watching CFL football for over 20 years. Probably more like 25 years, actually. Over 25 years. Right now I'm dating myself. I'm ending myself there, okay? But 25 years. And I have never seen in my life a young upcoming franchise quarterback fall under 50 yards. 50. 50 yards in 4 quarters. I'm sorry, everyone, but when is this Trey Ford bandwagon going to end? It's been as far as I know, at least 3 years. I was like, Trey Ford's the future. Oh, we have to get rid of Cornelius. Oh, we have to get rid of Bethel Thompson. We have to get rid of whoever else we have because Trey Ford's the future. Trey Ford's the future. Trey Ford's the future. Okay, we got good ownership now. We got brand new ownership that's putting money into this team. We got you a wide receiver. We got you Gittins Jr. We got Sawezna back. We got an O-line. We got the best defense in the CFL. We got you great running games of Link and Leak and Lincoln. That's Leak and Lincoln in one word, boy. Anyway, but we got these great players and under 50 yards. I'm sorry. When is this going to end? Meanwhile, you got the Grey Cup MVP from only 2 years ago sitting on the bench. You even brought in this Blubber. Okay? Blubber we love. Under 50 yards. I'm not saying that the whole year has a blow up, but you have to give Cody Fajardo for next game against Saskatchewan. His former team, he has to step it up. And I'm sorry, but if he doesn't get for next game, you got to start firing coaches. I honestly thought when you win a game, because before they couldn't win their first game in the first half of the year, you won the first 6 weeks, is about quarter way through the year. You won the first game in the first quarter. I thought, oh, good. They can build off this momentum. This is lovely. Under 50 yards. And I would give if you under 50 yards, he had this amazing winning play like we saw in Toronto a couple years back. Oh, wow, this guy's a future in the CFL. Under 50 yards. I think I could go and throw under 50 yards.
No, you can't. You can't throw a football much more than 5 yards, bud. But
yeah, that's wrong. I can throw a football.
Okay, but Dan, I do want to counter you a little bit here. Number one, Trey Ford's performance was unacceptable tonight. I do agree on.
As our season ticket holder in front of us say at the Argo games, unacceptable.
But you saying they got all these pieces. Justin Rankin had 3 carries for 4 yards. Javon Leake 2 carries for 2 yards. Okay,
your quarterback's your leader.
Dan,
when your leader sucks,
Dan, and I'm sorry, you saying Curly Gittens Jr. is a tier 1 wide receiver is ludicrous. You're telling me Curly Gittens Jr. is as good as Kenny Lawler, Eugene Lewis, and Dominic Coxey.
No,
he's not even close. Sir. I'm sorry, Trey Ford doesn't have a great receiving core to throw it up to. Again, he didn't play well this game. But
under 50 yards, bro.
Number 2,
I can be okay if he got 100.
Dan, your team is built around defense, and you let BC put up 32 points again. And
because they're on the field the whole game.
You finally get your first sack of the year. You finally get your first interception of the year, and it took you till your 5th game. You only have 3 sacks as a unit when you have the most expensive defensive line in the Canadian Football League. And I understand that Jake Serezna went out with a knee injury. Robbie Smith was injured going into this game. But that's not the point. Reaves Trade also got injured in this game. But again, that's not the point. You have spent so much money on defense. It's kind of like when everyone goes on about the Oilers losing the Stanley Cup and they're saying they lost because of their 4th line. No, you put all your money in McDavid and Draisaitl. Put your money where your mouth is. Edmonton put all their money in defense, and their defense is ranked the worst in every statistic. They have the least amount of sacks. They have the least amount of interceptions. They have the least amount of 2 and outs. This defense has sucked.
I give that, but under 50 yards, bud.
I don't care, though. But
you don't care. He's a quarterback.
Because when your defense is allowing the BC stop trying in the second half. That's how much this got away. You let BC score 21 points in the second quarter. Yes, it would help more if your offense could stay on the field. But at the same time, you have a young quarterback. And Dan, before you go on, Trey Ford has been in the league for 3 years. First year, he played 1 game, then missed the entire season.
Well, has it been longer than 3 years? It feels longer than 3.
It hasn't.
4.
See? 4.
First year in the CFL, he didn't play a single game in the regular season. Second year in the Canadian Football League, he wins his first start and gets injured. Third year in the CFL, it takes him until about week 7 to finally get into a game. And then he actually has a winning record. And then there's been this year, which, okay, Trey Ford has been very up and down. He has had some great games. He has had some bad games. At the end of the day, I am starting Cody Fajardo next week if I feel this team has a chance to still push for a playoff spot. That's the $1 million question in Edmonton. Are you trying to make a playoff push, or have you given up on the season? If you've given up on the season,
give up yet.
BC,
I don't think you can really give up till Labor Day.
But the way Calgary, Saskatchewan, Winnipeg, and BC is going, do you feel you can catch any of them?
BC could easily lose 3 games in a row. They won 3 games. They can lose 3 games.
I don't know, Dan. I think for Edmonton, I wouldn't give up on the season yet, but it just depends if they feel this season is done. If you feel the season is done, then you continue to start Trey Ford. If you want to try to climb back in the season, you start Cody Fajardo. I didn't get this game actually why Cody Fajardo didn't get some touches earlier in the game anyways, just because it was a game I would have liked to see. I'd like to see him, get a little more action.
Mr. Dasko has a point here.
Yeah, I was just looking at his statistics. He's actually played a lot more than in his first year.
I'm talking about games started. I'm not talking about when he comes in for 5.6 seconds.
No, but I'm just saying. But he did. In his first year, he started 3 games. He was 1-2, but played 10 games of the season. He was 1-2. Second year, he played 10 games as a starter. Was 4-6, and then last year he played 5 games and was 4-1. And I got to be honest, I did think I know he was struggling up until you can say maybe he's a rookie, first 2 years. And then he finally gets his chance to turn this team around. Looked like he was turning it around coming into this year, where he'd look like it's his 4th season in the CFL. He's had some success. He's finally found his game, and then it's like, has he or hasn't he?
Well, that's what I'm starting to say. I'm not saying he's a terrible quarterback. Everyone can have a bad game. But in my 25 years watching CFL, that is the worst performance I've ever seen a quarterback play. All I'm saying is that when you draw the line and say, is this guy a franchise quarterback, like everyone's predicting and wanting, or do we admit what it is and look at the numbers and say, I think this guy's a good backup? Because in my opinion, that's what I think he is. I think he's a good backup. He's probably the most exciting quarterback in the league. I give him a lot of credit for that. And he's a super nice guy, and he's Canadian. I love all that. So I'm not bashing him on a personal level. I'm just saying numbers don't lie. And I'm sorry, but under 50 yards in 4 quarters, okay? You cannot win a game.
That's not just on the quarterback, though. That's also on the play calling. And you guys are forgetting every year he's had a different OC.
Well, that's a problem.
Give him some consistency. And I am going to play devil's advocate here a bit more on this, because at the end of the day, Dan, you're going on about his receiving core. I'm sorry, but the receiving core at Edmonton, the year before, you had Eugene Lewis.
I mean, he did get 47
Dylan Mitchell. Eugene Lewis is one of the best wide receivers in the entire league.
Where's Mitchell now? Calgary?
Nowhere. He's on Winnipeg, but he's on the practice roster.
What?
This year, your best receiver is Steven Dunbar, who only caught 2 out of 5 targets. I'm sorry. After Dunbar and Gittins, this receiving core is not good. Julian Grant's having a terrible year. Then you have Tyson Middlestott, who, sorry, but no one really even knows who he is. You have Jackson, who's very inexperienced. And then you have Mathis, who's very inexperienced. I'm not saying Trey Ford isn't playing well. I agree with you. And I would seriously think about starting Cody Fajardo next week. Or next week. You have a bye, but your next game. But at the same time, Dan, let me finish.
Yeah, sorry.
You have spent so much money in defense, and you have left no money for offense. I don't get it too. You could have you cut Alexander Hollins, who's a 1,000-yard receiver.
Yeah.
Maybe if Trey Ford had a get up and get him receiver, you look at that deep shot he took early in the game, the Dunbar. Dunbar should have caught that.
Yeah.
And if that's Eugene Lewis, he catches that. But again, this is where I blame the general manager in Edmonton. You went out this year and made a big statement, Trey Ford's my guy. Okay, I'm going to give him absolutely nobody to throw the ball to. Curly Gittins Jr. is a third option on a good team. Curly Gittins Jr. is a third option on a good team, not a first option.
Wasn't he the one that said there was no superstars in the CFL?
Yes, he's an idiot. And I think that's part of the reason why nobody wants to play in Edmonton.
Right.
And I'm sorry, but Curly, think about it. Gittins Jr. on Toronto. Yeah. He's a third, maybe 4th receiver. Curly Gittins Jr. on Winnipeg. He's a 3rd receiver. Curly Gittins Jr. on Hamilton.
3rd.
He's a 3rd receiver. Curly Gittins Jr. on BC.
3rd.
He's a 3rd. Calgary.
3rd.
He's a 3rd.
Saskatchewan.
Maybe Saskatchewan right now with injuries, he might be your top option. And I'm not criticizing Curly Gittins Jr., by the way.
I like him.
Very good route runner.
I loved him as
Argo. For screen passes, got lots of speed. But there's no one on this team that's going to win a 50-50 ball. And you're telling Trey Ford to push it down the field. If anything, I think this is bad play calling. He's in the pocket too much. You have the most explosive quarterback with his legs in the league. Yet he's barely running the ball himself. Let him be creative.
Let me rephrase this question then, Jacob. Is this a statement game? Is this a game where you fire your OC, you fire your DC, you fire your coaching?
No, you don't fire everyone mid-season. No.
You got to fire somebody. I'm sorry. You can't expect to win a game giving up 500 net yards and getting under 100 yourself.
So please explain that allowing 500 net yards is Trey Ford's fault.
I'm not saying it's Trey Ford's fault. I'm not saying
what you're saying is you seem to think you put Cody Fajardo in this game and you win, and I don't necessarily feel that.
No, I'm not saying that. But I'm saying Cody Fajardo's getting over 100 yards.
Maybe Fajardo puts up 220 yards. BC's offense tries for the whole game, and you lose 50-28.
At least it's respectable.
50-28 is not respectable, Dan. Like Nathan Rourke, without trying to push the ball for the entire second half, went 26 for 30, 345, two TDs, and a pick. James Butler ran for 172 yards.
That's insane.
Like, you need to look at that and just be like, okay, yeah, the quarterback is one problem. It's not the only. It's kind of like I'm going to bring this to the Toronto Maple Leafs again. Everyone seems to think the Leafs have one issue. And now that Mitch Marner's gone, though the team's going to win a Stanley Cup. No, there's more issues than one player.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
No, there's been more issues than the core four over this tenure. I think for the Elks, it's the same way. You can't blame Trey Ford for 4 years worth of problems.
And it's like if the Elks didn't have Cody Fajardo on the bench, I would totally agree with you. Keep giving the team to him. Keep giving him the team. But I think getting Cody Fajardo in first place really sends mixed messages. It's like, why do you get an MVP quarterback and sit him on the bench? If you really wanted this to be Trey Ford's team, you go out and get Nick Arbuckle. You go and get Jake Mayer. You go and get
quarterbacks who weren't available.
Okay, I know, but I'm just saying someone of that caliber. You get someone like Vancouver's backup.
Jeremiah Masoli.
Yes, thank you, Masoli.
Yeah, but you have to realize getting Fajardo makes sense because you're bringing in a good Taylor. No, they're not going to get Taylor Powell. Like the thing is,
you get someone like that, right?
For me, with Edmonton, I won't be surprised if Trey Ford gets the start against the Rough Riders. If that game goes poorly, you will probably see Cody Fajardo getting the start from August on. Again, because that's when you play the Ticats in August.
What are you talking about if the game goes poorly?
If the game goes poorly, if Trey Ford has another bad game, that's what poorly means.
Yeah, but you say if Cody Fajardo goes in.
That's not what I said. I said Trey Ford will probably get the start against the Riders. And if it goes poorly, Cody Fajardo will get the start against the Ticats.
Okay, now
I think they are going to give Trey Ford one more game because if you look at his statistics overall, over the course of the year, he's done a lot of good things.
He has.
That game against Ottawa, he does have a game with over 300 yards passing. He does have a positive touchdown to interception ratio. And I think, let's say Edmonton was losing games 10-7 every week, then I think you would change the quarterback. But it's kind of like how I've said about pulling your goalie when your team can't defend to save its life. I think it's a cop out. I'm probably seeing Ford getting at least one more start.
Or do you give him Cody Fajardo next week? Let's maybe let Cody Fajardo see what the problem is. I have a theory. What if you let Cody Fajardo play Saskatchewan? Let him go in there and let a veteran quarterback go and analyze the problem so he can go educate Trey Ford on what to do better. And Trey Ford could play Hamilton because statistically, Trey Ford actually plays very good against the Hamilton Ticats, including the game he came back. When he plays Hamilton, he usually has a really fantastic game.
True.
He's very good against the Ticats. So if I'm Edmonton, I would almost, at this point, not to say to bench him, but I would let Cody Fajardo go in and try to be the fix-it man here. Maybe try to figure out what is wrong with this offense. Try to figure out, what are the issues? Are they calling the wrong plays? Are they lined up wrong? Do they need to put defensemen, certain guys in certain better positions? Do they, line up their line better? And then a veteran quarterback like Cody Fajardo, can maybe analyze those problems and go back to Trey Ford and be like, hey, so here's what I saw. I don't know if you've been seeing this, but here's what I saw. And here's how you could, up your game. Because I feel like, you have Cody Fajardo here. It's not working with Trey Ford. Why not give it one game, let him go in there, figure out the issues, and then go back to Trey Ford, and then you can try another game with him and see if those issues can be cleaned up with some more veteran quarterback. That's why you have him there.
The only thing that's tough with that lane, and I do get where you're coming from, but what do you do if you play Cody Fajardo and that's the plan and then you win? Edmonton fans are going to flip if you go back to Trey Ford again after a win. So the only thing I'm saying
that's
is,
if you win. You may not win. Maybe he
yeah,
goes
but
in
Trevor
there.
Harris might just complain about the start time and not show up again.
I gotta admit, I was shocked how bad Saskatchewan played.
And I do want to get to that game, but before we do, I just want to say, here's what I think you do. Trey Ford starts with a shorter leash than when you're training your dog. And he has a bad quarter, he's out.
Shorter leash than Bear when he was a puppy.
I think it's literally just... I think Cody Fajardo can come off the bench and have success. He's a veteran. I think because you announced Trey Ford is the guy, and the West, I'll be honest, I almost think Edmonton's out right now.
Yeah, they're done.
I think they're cooked because they've lost the season series to BC now. So if they can tie BC in the standings, they would still lose out. And we'll get into it later. I still think Toronto can turn their year around as much as it's been bad, because it's been bad due to a crap ton of injuries.
Right.
And, it's one of these things. I think Toronto's time's coming up soon. If they don't get a couple wins soon, I think they're cooked. Yeah. But I do feel that when I look at this Edmonton team right now, they don't have an easy schedule coming up either. The next 2 games are the Rough Riders and the Ticats.
Why?
And, Dan, as you've seen lately, Hamilton's been playing great.
Oh, they have, yeah. I mean, Hamilton's been playing fantastic. It really makes the East really interesting, as Montreal has really fell. Hamilton's played fantastic, and unfortunately, Ottawa and Toronto shared the basement. So Hamilton really has a chance here to really take over the East, really, which none of us saw that coming.
But at the end of the day, time will tell with Edmonton. We'll talk more about that closer to their next game. But I do want to talk about, actually, let's get into the Stamps versus the Riders, since we started already teasing about Trevor Harris's comments. Yeah. Not sure if you saw them, Lane.
Comments? What happened?
So, as you know, the game was delayed because of air quality control.
Yeah, I know that.
Long story short, Trevor Harris basically blamed that for them losing.
Oh, come on.
And if anything, it was harder for Calgary because they were sleeping in college dorms.
Exactly.
Are you kidding me?
I'm sorry, Saskatchewan does this every year. They start off really good. Then by the second, after about week 6, they fall apart.
That's crazy.
You might get a watermelon thrown at you, Jacob.
Oh, I'm sorry, but they do.
Look at how it hurt.
That's insane.
He's saying basically that, I'll read you a bit of the comments. Now we'll probably see something in the CBA, and that will address it because it was not fun, quoting to the game being delayed. It sucked. It wasn't fun. I'm not making excuses as to this today, but it was brutal. There's all kinds of excuses you can make, but they had to do the same thing. It's an equalizer. They were tired too. Probably it's one of those football things. But to me, when he's bringing it up, this was right after the loss.
So he was just mad.
To me, he's,
Okay, but let's play devil's advocate here. If you continue the game, and let's say something like Hamlin happens on the field, and someone passes out and almost dies, or let's say a fan has a heat stroke and dies, then how bad does the league look for not canceling it, right? So I really think you have to play on the side of caution. I mean, we're talking people's lives. How many times have we seen in high school and colleges and universities of people being lifted off the field because of heat strokes, right? It is a legitimate issue. And with the air quality, the heat stroke is worse. There's a higher probability.
Or to Dan's point, this happened, and this is going to be a really random tangent, but here up in the Burlington Cougars one time in the Ontario Junior Hockey League I cover here. There was 2 minutes left in the, I think it was, maybe not 2 minutes, but it was late in the third period, and it was a 2-0 lead for, I don't remember what team, but there was a big hole in the ice that was very dangerous that, if someone had skated over it or someone had to be able, and they could, even though they tried and bring in every technique they could to fix the ice, unfortunately, it was not safe. Well, what happened if they kept, according to Trevor Harris, you just keep playing and hope that someone doesn't break their ankle. But what if someone, like Dan says, what if some kid goes out there trying to play for his team and breaks his ankle on bad ice? It's like, I agree with Dan here. It's like at the end of the day, it sucks whatever happens. I don't care if there's a minute left. I don't care if there's 10 seconds left. I don't care if there's 3 seconds left. If there's something on that field, there's something in the air that's going to cause harm to people's safety, and you're sitting there blaming it for your loss, you're an absolute joke. Go work at McDonald's. Go make pop. You're a joke. Just quit and go away because you don't care about your team. You don't care about your fans. You're a bad person. If you don't care about your fans, your team, or your other people, you're an absolute a word I can't say. That's horrible, and I won't stand for it. I won't. Don't be
I just feel like for me, he's saying I'm not using it as an excuse, but blah 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 blah. Going on kickoffs at 7, we're sitting in a locker room since 5, and now we're talking about teeing up at 11:15. Hey, this is probably a player issue, safety issue. We're in the locker room for 6 hours, then we go warm up for 20 minutes and play. Be done at 2:15 in the morning. Yeah. I'm sorry, but you're paid to be professional athletes. And if, number one, they were talking about a half an hour warm-up, not a 20-minute warm-up. And I'm sorry, but at the end of the day, I think the league probably should have canceled the game a little earlier than they did. But I understand why they didn't as well. And it's interesting. The CFL Players Association took the opposite route of Trevor Harris, saying that the protocols were ran properly and they put player safety first.
I think it was.
And, they were really praising it.
I think it's gross.
I would love to sit here as a fan and say, you know what? I'm disappointed. These people get paid. They should go out and get paid. But you got to stop and think. This is not Madden 25. These are not video game characters. These are real people. And it's like Jacob and I were watching that Buffalo Bills game.
They let fans bring food and drink
on the field. And when you witness something like that, it really changes your perspective. Oh my gosh, we sometimes forget these are real human beings behind the jerseys. And yeah, I pointed this out before in the pregame show, but I go back to baseball. You look at Los Angeles when they played the Blue Jays. Los Angeles played the Blue Jays in Toronto as opening pitch at 137. Can't be 130. 137 was the opening pitch. Now, you go back to Los Angeles time, that means we're starting at 10:30 in the morning their time. Did they complain? No. How many times do we see baseball games get waned out? Because a lot of stadiums in America are outdoor. And when they get waned out, they got to play a double hitter. They got to play 2 games in a day. Now, I understand football is a lot more physical dominating than baseball. I'm not saying they compare. But at the same time, I'm saying when people say, the CFL is a Bush league or Trevor Harris complaining it's the wrong thing, every sports do it too.
And I think this was more just Trevor Harris trying to save face that this was a bad game. Like, yes, Harris did throw 425 yards and a touchdown in that game, but I thought he looked off the entire night. He wasn't reading reads correctly. He was missing open receivers. The running game for the Rough Riders was terrible. Ouellette only having 9 yards on 6 carries. I don't know why you bring in Kadeem Carey and only let him run the ball once.
Yeah,
I don't really. And I mean, I look at this game and I think Calgary just was better prepared. I think Calgary didn't let the layoff affect them because you go to Calgary, Vern Adams Jr., 428, 3 touchdowns. Yeah, the 2 interceptions isn't great, but Dedrick Mills, 85 yards. Vernon Adams rushed for 16. As Blaine pointed out on the post-game show, that Quincy Vaughn rushed for more yardage pretty much than the entire Rough Rider team.
Yeah.
Like, I look at Calgary, and Calgary's not letting injuries be an excuse for them either. They're missing their best receiver in Reggie Bangleton. And Damian Alford, the super rookie, is just like, that's fine. I'll just get 2 touchdowns and 156 yards and celebrate like a moose. Like, and then you have like Calgary, just everyone is stepping up. And right now, I think Calgary is the best team in the CFL, and they just proved it by taking down the Rough Riders. I'm going to say it pretty easily.
You know, and I was just going to say, as much as the Rough Riders had a rough game here, let's not disrespect Calgary or not give Calgary credit. Calgary was in a very tough situation. As Jacob said, they had injuries to begin with. They were on the road. They didn't even have a hotel room booked. They had a sweeping Colwood storm. So the team was divided, half in the hotel, half in the university dorm. And yet they didn't use any excuses.
And yet they didn't complain, did they?
Exactly. No. And I don't think they would have complained if they lost either.
No.
I agree with Jacob. I think this game is a massive statement game for Calgary. And Calgary has proven they're the best team in the league. Because, like I said, with the Blue Jays and that crazy game against Oakland when they almost lost. I know they lost 2 games now. But anyway, I'm just saying before that. Good teams find a way to win. And Calgary had everything against them, that team. They're even the away team. And they found a way to win.
Yeah, honestly, after hearing that, I'm honestly disgusted.
I'm going to say this too. Trevor Harris, his last couple starts haven't been spectacular. Like you look against Toronto, he only went 13 for 17, 234, and an interception. Trevor Harris has thrown interceptions in almost every start this year. Like Trevor Harris is not looking as good as he's been in years past. Going into this year, I would have said Trevor Harris might be the best quarterback in the entire league. I don't feel that way right now. I look at Harris's numbers this year. He's thrown 3 interceptions to 6 touchdowns, 1,200 yards. Those numbers are decent, but they're not Trevor Harris-like numbers. He's throwing under 75% completion rating. That's not
unusual for him. He's usually about, 77, 78%, right?
He's usually the most accurate quarterback in football, NFL or CFL.
Yeah,
and like just to put into perspective, last year in 12 games, he threw 9 interceptions. He's already thrown 3 and 4.
Yeah.
So, and he threw 20 touchdowns that year in 12. This year, he's only thrown 6.
And 3, which is pretty good. No, 4, sorry. Yeah.
That's not that good, Dan.
No, I know.
That's not that good. We're looking Trey Ford right now has pretty much the identical touchdown interception ratio as Trevor Harris. We're going on that Trey Ford sucks and Trevor Harris is great. Now, mind you, Edmonton's not winning games. Saskatchewan's 4-1. But what I'm getting at is I think this more showed if you're playing Saskatchewan, if you stop the run, you stop the Riders.
Well, it's Trevor Harris.
Because Trevor Harris is not a type of quarterback you want dropping back 35, 40 times in a game at his age.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is his age starting to catch up to him finally? Is he becoming a
I think he's just making excuses. I really do. At the end of the day, the Riders weren't ready to play, and the Stamps were. The Stamps played phenomenal. Yep. All 3 phases played well.
Yeah, like you said, you want to sit there and complain about everything and complain about this, but yet the other team didn't phase the other team. So if it's that big of a deal, how come the other team played fantastic on all sides of the field if it was that big of an issue? At the end of the day, you just sucked.
Well, I'm a huge Trevor Harris fan. I loved him
in
Argo, but I'm starting to kind of thinking what Lane said about his comment. I mean, it's pretty wrong.
Gross.
He's not thinking about human life here.
He did say he talked about player safety issues and whatnot, but to me, it's just more making excuses for the loss. And at the end of the day, too, Saskatchewan and Trevor Harris wasn't your only problem either.
They put the protocols that they weren't.
The protocols were followed, but you also have Brett Lothar who went 1 for 3 for field goals again. Man, he is the most inconsistent kicker in the league. He's either perfect or terrible.
Yeah, what a shocker.
And, Saskatchewan.
I guess this house is going to get egged.
I thought Tim White's house might have got egged if Hamilton lost this week. But for Saskatchewan, their next game's BC. If BC beats them, BC goes to 4-3. Saskatchewan drops to 4-2. The West becomes very interesting.
And BC looked really good.
They did, right? And last but certainly not least from week 6, we have Lane's Hamilton Tiger Cats.
Oh, yeah.
Squeaking out A game that realistically, I don't think Hamilton should have won, but they found a way to win. And you know what? This is what's making Hamilton right now one of the best teams in the CFL. They're finding ways to hang around and win games, right? Like Lane, you talked about it in the post-game show. Hamilton did not play that well, but they found a way to hang around.
No, they didn't. Honestly, like I watched that game and it was a terribly played game, but from their standards, like Bo Levi Mitchell wasn't making good throws. Tim White wasn't catching the ball. Kenny Lawler, after going out there and saying double team, he couldn't catch a ball when he was wide open half the time. He was dropping balls left, right, and center. The defense was really good. But on the offensive side, they could. Their running game wasn't good. Bo Levi Mitchell was making bad passes. They were struggling to get even first downs at times. And even when they were at the red zone with 4 yards to go and 3 cracks, couldn't find the end zone. But then again, their defense makes one good play. They're able to get the ball back. And then when it mattered, that one big catch from Kenny Lawler, that 30-yard, 4-yard pass down the field. And then unfortunately that pass interference where he fell down and accidentally knocked over Bo Levi Mitchell. And if I could see if you're an Ottawa fan, say, well, come on, like what was he supposed to do? He was knocked in, but the rule says if you make contact with the quarterback leg, you're going to get called for it. So you better find a way to fall down and not hit him. Unfortunately, you did. So you fell into the rule, which has been the rule. I think this is one of the new rules. You can't hit the quarterback by the knee. Right. Fortunately, he did. So, if that happened, and then, Bo Levi Mitchell finds Kenny Lawler in the end zone on the second try there. And unfortunately, the Ticats win a game they shouldn't. But I said, if that's you in your worst game, I would be really happy because that's you on your worst day. What's you on your best day?
Yeah, that's true.
But because I think Ottawa really Amber Hearded this one up, as we said on the live show. Drew Brown threw his first 2 interceptions of the year, both to Jamal Peters. You're not using the running game effectively, which I don't understand when you have Stanback and Onababoye, who are both talented running backs. You're struggling without Addison in your receiving core, though Keelan White actually had a pretty good game. Yeah. Eugene Lewis balled out like crazy.
He did.
I think Tommy Kendall, the OC, is in the hot seat right now for the Red Blacks, and potentially Bob Dice as well, the head coach, because his team is just not aggressive enough when they have a lead. Yeah, you had a lead going into the fourth quarter, and the offense just didn't really do anything and just trying to burn the clock. You can't. The CFL is not a league you can burn the clock down when you have a 2-score lead in the fourth quarter.
Especially against Cowie Lauer or whatever. So I forget his name. Lauer?
Kenny Lawler.
Kenny, thank you.
I don't know who Calvin
is, but especially against
how's it going, Kevin?
Kenny Lawler and Bo Levi Mitchell. I mean, these are both Hall of Fame players, and you can't have them working together and conservatively close down the clock. I'm sorry.
Well, no, and that's the thing. As Lane pointed out, was off nights, but even off night, Hamilton, Bo Levi Mitchell still managed to throw 2 touchdowns, no picks. Kenny Lawler ended up putting 95 yards and 2 touchdowns. Tim White, 60 yards. And without Greg Bell, you were able to run the ball by committee between Augustine Ward, Mitchell carrying it twice, and Litre, your fullback, making a couple big runs. So if you're Hamilton right now, you got to be feeling pretty good. Yeah. You did play your best football, but you found a way to win. And we said this before, how good teams find a way to win. And that's also kind of my point when we're talking Edmonton, when you guys are saying, well, you need better play. Bo Levi Mitchell was 23 for 41. That's terrible. But at the end of the day, the Ticats defense kept getting stops in the second half. Wow. Right? Ottawa didn't put up a single point in the fourth quarter, because that defense for Hamilton kept making big stops and big moments. And actually, so did the Ottawa defense. It just came down to eventually you knew Mitchell and Lawler were going to connect again, and you gave them way too many chances. Yeah. And Scott Milanovich, Hamilton's head coach, kept being aggressive on the offense, even when it wasn't clicking. I think that's a big thing he's learned from last year. You're going to have some off nights you're going to have some off series of Bo Levi Mitchell, but he is a quarterback that can hit the big play when you need it. So you just got to let him keep slinging it.
Yeah, for sure.
So, Lane, you got to be feeling pretty good though right now. I know you said that the Ticats are finding ways to win games, and they're finding ways to win games with some injuries still, and I think that's got to feel good. So at the end of the day, out on the flip side, for the Ottawa Red Blacks, I feel you're finding ways to lose football games.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Ottawa should have won this game. I
2
think we
weeks
can
in a
all
row,
agree
I'd
this.
say.
Pardon?
That's the second week in a row. I feel like they've all not like purposely, but just little things that they've done that have made them lose this
Little
game. Like,
mistakes. And these
Yeah, like
little
last-
mistakes become very big problems when at the end of the day you need wins. And now Ottawa, it's interesting. Everyone goes on, it was a quarterback issue. Well, the only win you have is with Dustin Crum starting. I'm not saying Drew Brown is not. I'm not saying Dustin Crump's better than Drew Brown because he's not. But at the end of the day, it's like, well, and actually, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but Hamilton got another first down and Pickett celebrated a tackle he made. And I'm like, bro, they got the first down. Why are you celebrating? I think it's partially a culture issue in Ottawa right now. I don't think they have a winning culture there.
Actually, speaking of culture and different things, I want to back up a quick second because we saw this live. Beep. We saw this live in the game today of BC versus Edmonton. Let's be honest. It doesn't happen often in the CFL, but it was. This was a blowout, okay? It was a blowout. There was about under 2 minutes left to go. Cody Fajardo throws the ball to a receiver, which I think kind of was a young receiver. Am I right, Jacob? Kind of a younger receiver. And the BC guy laid a level hit to the helmet and blew the guy out. And I'm like, okay, it was a phenomenal tackle.
It was a dirty tackle, spearing to the head. It was a 15-yard penalty, and I think it might be a suspension.
It was under 2 minutes to go in a blowout game. I'm like, blow. You guys talk about class and empathy and stuff, and you were in Edmonton too. It wasn't like you were even in BC. It's like, and then he celebrated, and at the end of it, the guy's laying there like knocked out, and he's like, "Yeah, look at me!" Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, whoa, like that's
now. I will. Okay, I'm going to start off by saying I agree with you, Dan, to a point. However, if Edmonton's going to continue to drive down the ball and try to score, they did score on that drive. BC has every right to play it hard.
Oh, 100%.
My only complaint about it was a head-on-head tackle. And that's, I think it should be a suspension. Ooh. Because it was about 3.5 minutes left in the game. The game's over. It's not like you needed to force a fumble. I'm all for playing hard to the last whistle, especially when the other team is doing the same. I just don't think spearing to the head is exactly the way to do it. That's kind of how I feel.
Yeah, if he hit him like lower down here, it would have been perfect, right? But he hit him to the
head on head is a very dangerous hit, and it's hits that the league are trying to eliminate.
That's what I was just going to say. Yeah, exactly.
Now, I do want to move on to my power rankings, and I am going to say this. I think people may think I'm on drugs, which I am not.
You're just Pete.
I'm just drinking my Ice River water. We're not sponsored by Ice River water, but we could be. Calgary is number 1 for me. Yeah. They just took down the Rough Riders. Number 2, Hamilton Tiger Cats.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Number 3, Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Number 4, Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Here's where I think people think I'm out to lunch. Number 5, BC Lions. Number 6, Montreal Alouettes.
So you have BC above, but wow.
Number 7, Toronto Argonauts. Number 8, Ottawa Red Blacks. Number 9, Edmonton Elks.
Now I have a question for Jacob because I know you do read the Third Down Nation. Where did they have the Argos?
7.
Okay.
What everyone will think I'm out to lunch is putting Montreal at 6, and I know that. But you've lost 2 straight. The Lions have won 2 straight. When I'm looking at these, I'm kind of looking at momentum swings. And I actually think right now the Lions beat Montreal not that long, only 2 weeks ago.
True.
Because between the Blue Bombers, Lions, and Owls, that's the group that I've been flip-flopping on when I was making my list.
You could argue maybe Montreal might be better than the Blue Bombers, but...
You could argue it. You could argue the Lions are better than the Bombers right now, though, because the Bombers just got blown. Their last game was a complete blowout by the Stamps.
Wow.
Well, you could make that argument, though, right now.
I think it's tough with these power rankings because you're comparing teams that played in the week versus teams that had a bye in a week. So
Well, yeah,
how
that's how
can
it
you
works.
really defend your spot when you were bye? I mean, not play, not bye.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You don't need to get into that, Mr. Behind the Roadhouse.
Oh,
But I think it's more at the end of the
What's
day,
going on here?
when I'm doing these rankings, I do look at your last game played as well as your overall season.
For
And
sure.
Winnipeg's last game was bad, and so was Saskatchewan's. The only reason why Saskatchewan is higher for me was because it was their first loss of the season, and it was under some, as much as the Stamps excelled in those weird circumstances, it was weird. It was kind of like, remember when Calgary lost to Ottawa, and some people had Calgary as the worst team in the league.
Oh,
and I'm like, hey, that was a really weird game.
Yeah.
So for me, it'll more depend what Saskatchewan's next game is, if it's a normal outcome where they may hold. And
well,
Montreal,
these power ratings are constantly flipping every week.
they are, right? And Montreal would, everyone's blaming it on the quarterback being injured, but Montreal's defense has struggled the last couple of weeks, in my opinion. They weren't able to shut down Hamilton's offense at all, and they weren't able to shut down the Lions' offense at all when they needed it. So it'll be very interesting with Montreal versus Toronto coming up. That's a big game for both of those teams. Montreal looking to stop a losing streak. Toronto looking to remember what it's like to win a game. So, I mean, it's going to be an interesting one, right? But right now, Calgary and Hamilton are the two best teams in the Canadian Football League, in my opinion.
Wow.
Even if, Hamilton, maybe by the record, you could argue the Rough Riders are better. I think Hamilton right now, all I know is I can't wait until we get Hamilton versus Calgary. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, we already got one.
Because you're going to have the two best offenses in the CFL going head to head.
Imagine if you asked this question at the beginning of the year, in week 6, you would have Calgary and Hamilton as the two best teams.
Well, we almost kind of did. If you go back, we pretty much said these would be the two teams to watch out for.
Well, that's true. But I just mean against ever CFL analysts out there.
Watch what you need to self-proclaim.
Even if you had last year, last year you had Toronto and Winnipeg in the Grey Cup. You say, okay, Toronto's won the Grey Cup. Next year, your best team's gonna be Calgary and Hamilton. Like, what? So it's like,
well, it just shows in the Canadian Football League things drastically change, right?
Right, because all the drastic free agents off-season signings and all.
You know what else has drastically changed? The Toronto Blue Jays of late.
Oh, yes.
So the Toronto Blue Jays came off one of their biggest winning streaks in franchise history. They have their best record in franchise history going into the All-Star break. Yet they totally Amber Hearded the bed, and they lost to the Athletics 2 out of 3 games. Even the one game they won, they almost blew a 7-1 lead. Remember when I kept saying to you boys, this streak is cute. Let's see what happens when the streak ends.
Yeah, for sure. There we are.
Yeah, that's kind of what we're seeing right now. Like, this team has all of a sudden just forgotten how to play baseball. They can't seem to hit. Even the game they scored 7 runs, it was in a really weird way. It was more off athletic mistakes than Jay's plays.
They got 3 ones today.
And how many did they let in?
6.
Then that's no good.
I'm
6 is a higher number than 3. Breaking news on the Streakers On podcast.
I'd say it wasn't a complete blow. It wasn't like they lost 10-0.
I don't care. A loss is a loss, Dan. It counts as the same on the stats.
You lost 3 in your last 4 games now.
Yeah.
Oh, and now you're up the All-Star break, so you're into the All-Star break with a losing streak.
Right.
And a losing streak to teams you should have beat, and this is my issue, right? You should have beat the A's, you should have beat the White Sox, and you lost both of those series.
No, you won.
No, sorry, you did win the series against the White Sox.
But you lost last game.
But you lost the last game 2-1, and then against the A's, you just looked bad. Besides of the first game, you only scored 6 runs over the next 2.
Right.
So, and even their one win, you had Scherzer thinking 2 innings ahead and just all of a sudden falling apart. Hoffman not understanding, throwing it right in the center of the pitch area is a bad idea. I don't know. They got the Giants next, and that's not till Friday, mind you, because they have this All-Star break. Maybe the All-Star break's a good thing because they can reset a little bit.
I think it is a good thing for them now, yeah.
And you know what? The winning streak's done. They can reset. You have Kirk and Vladdy representing the team at the All-Star weekend. But you have the Giants and then the Yankees next.
And then the
Congrats
Tigers
to Kirk, too.
were
That's amazing. It's his first
red
All-Star
hot this
appearance.
year.
Yeah, like, I mean, so you're looking, the end of July is critical right now.
Oh,
Because I can keep saying the Yankees will eventually remember that you need to score more runs than the other team to win games. Because the Yankees also, they're also still playing terrible. They won 11-0 on Friday against the Cubs, and then they lost 5-2 and 4-1 the next 2 games. So that is the only advantage for the Blue Jays right now. They are struggled over their last 4, but so are the Yankees.
And then the other crazy shocker in this division is Boston kept beating Tampa. Because Tampa is not that far behind the Yankees. And now Boston kept beating them. So I'm like, okay.
But as you guys know, when it comes to Blue Jays, I've been a little more of a pessimist and feeling like that I'm kind of waiting for the downfall.
I'm 98 wins, baby.
Do you guys think this might have been the downfall, and we could see them coming out really sluggish after the All-Star break?
I'm scared, yeah. Because I was
Do you
saying
need a blanket?
I don't need a blanket, but like I said, I did say at one point, it's like, yeah, when you're on a hot streak, it's easy to be on a hot streak, right? Like, and I'm not saying that they didn't deserve it. They did everything well, but it's easy to feel confident when everything's going your way, and it feels like no matter what you do, everything turns to gold. Every pitcher's a strike, every hit's a home run, everything you're hitting is landing in the field, or you're getting 11 runs a game, everything's going well. Yeah, it's easy to feel like that and ride the weight of momentum. The Mets did that last year. They weren't a very good team, but they got hot at the right time and made a miracle run into the playoffs, But once you start losing again, and that feeling of like, oh, everything we do is now you're got to play baseball again. Can you get back to it? And this is where we're going to find out right now is can the Jays, still play top tier level when they've kind of come back to earth a little bit. We'll see. This is going to be some tough series. They have to do well against the Giants because if they don't do well, the Yankees, we all know, are going to come back, I can assume, at least with some vengeance here and wanting to get back at the Jays here. And then you get the Detroit Tigers who are red hot. And then you get the Orioles who have not been good, but the Orioles statistically are very good against the Toronto Blue Jays. Correct. So you do have some tough series coming up here. So I think these next series, even though you didn't win, I would have liked to see you go 4-2 instead of 5-3 there down the stretch there.
Right.
But I know it's only one loss, but we're coming down to October. We're
one
talking
loss
about
can make a difference.
Oh, of course I can. I've seen it so many times. Again, going back to the Jared Junior Hockey League, there were so many games in our season in the Burlington Cougars where I looked at it and said, if we would have won this one game against the Stouffville Spirit back in December, we would have finished 3rd instead of 6th place.
Yeah.
You don't realize it. You think, oh, it's only one game in the middle of the season. Who cares? Yeah. Come talk to October when you need that one game.
And I don't know if you guys realize this, but the Red Sox are on a 10-game winning streak.
Yeah, wow.
The Red Sox are only 3 games behind the Blue Jays right now, only 1 game behind the Yankees. So
now they're hot, right?
This is why I keep saying it could be your issue. Yeah, the Jays went on this great winning streak when now the Red Sox have done the exact same thing. So which team can stay more consistent?
So I really Tampa.
Tampa's now fallen because they have only won 2 of their last 10, and they are now 5.5 games behind. So Tampa's really starting to put themselves out of the race.
Wow.
But if you look, the Orioles just suck. But like you look here, and I think for the Yankees, the Jays, and the Red Sox, this is going to come down to what team can go 7-3 every 10 games for the rest of the year.
There's
6-4 kind of thing. I think for teams like the Yankees are 5-5 in their last 10, and that's not good enough. Like I think for the Yankees, Jays, and Red Sox, if one of these teams can just find consistency, which funny enough, the Red Sox have been consistently so-so until this run. So I could see the Red Sox surprising some people and jumping ahead. I'm not saying they will, but I'm saying it could happen because right now you're looking at it, what team can stay consistent. The Jays also need to get better on the road. They've been bad on the road this year. Really good in Toronto, 32-16 at home, but then you're 23-25 on the road.
Yeah, that's bad.
Right now, funny enough, all these teams are similar. The Yankees are 30-19 at home, 23-24 on the road. Red Sox are 32-20 at home, 21-25 on the road. The Rays are the only one where they're 28-25 at home, 22-22 on the road. They're pretty consistent. So I just think when it comes to these three, I may even throw the Tampa Bay Rays still in that mix. They're only 5.5 games back.
I would keep them in the mix still.
I think for the Rays, if they can go on a run and then stay consistent, it really will come down to which team can just remember that you need to play well all the time, not just on your winning streaks.
There's something that you guys are forgetting about. I think
is it the battle pass?
No. I think it's a big difference in the Blue Jays this year.
Battle pass
because of his winning streak.
I can play like
if they can stay 6-4 for the rest of the year, or even 500,
they got to be better than 500.
Let me finish. They're about 15 games over 500 right now. I think if they can stay consistent, you are in a buying situation and trade deadline. And that's going to be the difference maker. The Jays have not been in the buyer situation and trade deadline the past, I would probably say, about 10 years since the Batista and Price and Donaldson days, right? So you are finally in a buying position. And I think that's going to make a huge difference. The other thing I was just going to say, Jacob brought up a great point about the home records for this team. I still think this is the toughest division in baseball. And you look at the teams like the Blue Jays, like the Yankees, like the Red Sox, maybe not so much the other two in the division, but those three specifically. They're dominating franchises. The Blue Jays are very big at home because it is the only Major League Baseball team in the whole country, as Jacob pointed out. So, like, when we went to the Blue Jay game last time, Jacob and I, we were sitting beside a family from Halifax, right? So it's not just local people in Toronto. You're getting people from all over the place. Then you look at the Yankees and the Red Sox. The Yankees and the Red Sox are arguably the most dominated franchise in baseball and arguably the most dominating sports franchise in sports. I mean, the Yankees are probably the most valuable franchise in North America of any sports team, right? So no wonder why those teams have great home records, because they're both phenomenal. All three of them
are phenomenal,
powerful franchises.
Yeah, but Dan, at the end of the day, I look at this and I don't think when you're saying the Jays need to go 500, I think they got to do better than that, because I think the Yankees are underperforming, and I think the Red Sox are finding their way. And not to sound like the Yankees play-by-play gentlemen, but if you do look into like run differentials, the Jays have the worst run differential out of any division leader. So you know what? Like, yeah, they're finding ways to win, but if you all of a sudden don't find ways to win with the way you're playing,
be in trouble, yeah.
And I don't think the Jays want to be in a wild card situation again. I think now with where you go, you got to win the division. Now that you went on this run and the Yankees fell apart the way they did, you got to win the division. If you lose the division, I would almost argue the season is a disappointment.
I'm okay with the wild card.
I'm not.
Why
are you okay with mediocrity with the Blue Jays? I don't get it.
Because
they spend all this money on these superstars.
We did not predict
they spend all this money on these superstars, and you're like, oh, it's okay if they're just mediocre. No, it's not.
We did not predict this to happen. We did not predict to go for a division. We haven't made a playoffs in a very long time.
2 years. It's not that long.
After like last year being such a disaster, if we make it into a wild card, I'm okay with it.
I'm not happy with it.
Compare the Blue Jays to the Maple Leafs.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You're Dan. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is the most expensive player in Blue Jay history. He's the highest paid athlete out of any Canadian team besides maybe Toronto FC, because soccer players get paid an extraordinary amount. Like, I'm looking at this. The Jays have to win the division. I'm sick and tired of mediocrity from Toronto. Everyone's okay. Oh, that's okay.
I would say next year I agree with you, but this
year, stop this.
You can't change halfway through the year what you want. At the beginning of the year, we're all saying, "Oh, well, if we make the playoffs, we'll be happy." Now you want them to win the division at the All-Star break.
Yes, because Dan, the situations change. Okay, Dan, that is like saying you look at when Bo Levi Mitchell was a rookie in the Canadian Football League. Did you want him to win the Grey? Did you think he should win the Grey Cup his first season?
No, I think he was.
But let's say let's say he's having a phenomenal year halfway through. Would you expect him to be a Grey Cup contender that year?
No.
What do you mean? Why? Okay, Alexander Ovechkin had a phenomenal season. So you're saying you didn't expect him to win the Rocket to start the year, and if he is leading the Rocket Ressard race by All-Star break, you're not expecting him to win it anymore.
No. I mean, look at how many times we see.
Lane, would you please help? I need a pharmacist.
I'm in the middle here. Like I'm kind of on both.
You just meet me in the middle. Go ahead.
I do kind of see what both of you are saying, but I do understand what Dan's saying because I do feel like the same way. I said at the same time, it's like I didn't think this team was going to win 60 games. If they do make the playoffs, I'll be happy. I don't expect them to win the division. Even right now, I don't expect them to win the division.
No, I don't either.
Because I think the Yankees are going to realize they can play baseball again.
And now Boston.
I think the Yankees will win the division. Like that team's just too good. They're way better than the Blue Jays. I hate to say it, they just are.
Yeah.
If you're in Judge, Cody Bellinger, Paul Goldschmidt, like that team can just hit bombs left, right, and center. I don't know why it's not working. I can't figure. I can't tell you why.
They got Boone. I think Boone needs to be fired. I really do.
I don't know about that, but my point is, I don't agree with that sentiment. But
that's what Peter says, a friend of the program.
I look at the way the Jays team is. The Jays team is still a lot of rookies with some all-star talent mixed in. You got Berger, Clement, Luke's. Like there's still a lot of rookies on this team that are still trying to find their way. I do think if they can make.
You also have a whole bunch of veterans, though, guys. You have George Springer, you have Matt Scherzer, you have Gosman, you have Guerrero, who you just paid $500 million. You have Bo Bichette, who wants to be one of the highest-paid shortstops in the entire league. And it's like, when do we say the buck stops here? This team has to do something. I
just still think making the playoffs would be doing something because at least you're
okay. But if they make the playoffs and then they lose first round and not even win a game again, are we happy with that? I'm not. If you make the wild card and lose 2-0, because that's the last time they made the playoffs, and by the way, they blew an 8-1 lead in that game.
Oh, I know.
How many years ago was that?
2.
Yeah, 2. Yeah.
You're acting like it was 1865.
Yeah.
I was alive. That was a fun year. I was alive then, people.
You were alive in 1865?
Yeah,
wow, you're very dashing for a man who's been well over 100 years old.
He must have been in a DeLorean earlier today.
But all I'm getting at is, guys, it's like, I want you to flip this
gum
here.
was 1 cent.
But Dan, that is like saying you should not have expected the Leafs to make it to the conference finals because, last year they didn't make it past the first round. They did better this year. We should be happy. We should be praising them. We should have paid Mitch Marner $15 million.
Oh, God,
that's the same logic.
The Leafs are in a different.
Why? It's an underperforming core. What's the difference? You have Gosman, Scherzer, Berrios, Vladdy, Bichette, Springer, Kirk. Is that not a core? A core that you are paying a lot of money to fail.
Core, yeah.
Well, I'm sick and tired of this. Oh, as long as they do their best. Oh, who's a cute Blue Jay? Yes, you are. No, enough of this crap. Either win some games, win a playoff series, or tell Bo Bichette to take a hike.
But Jacob, here's the thing that you're missing out on. Yes, I understand what you're saying. And maybe you could, if you want to take this argument, I would take this argument. The Leafs, at least what the Leafs have, those players are top tier superstars, right?
Yeah.
Like
all the players.
Gosman is not a top tier superstar.
He was when you got him. So
when
we
got him, been done. Yeah.
So was Scherzer when you got him. That's like saying then, it doesn't matter if John Tavares sucks next year because he's not a top tier superstar anymore, but he was when we got him. So that's like saying those years don't matter that the Leafs underperformed. Of course they matter. Vladdy Guerrero Jr. and Alejandro Kirk are both superstars. Everyone goes on. Bo Bichette's a top tier shortstop.
I don't know about that, but
read the articles about it though. It's everywhere that Bo Bichette's a top tier shortstop.
Yeah, I don't know.
It is. I don't agree with it.
No, I
don't agree that Mitch Marner is a superstar player the way everyone goes he is. I think he's a good player. I think Bo Bichette is a good player. But if he wants to be paid like a superstar, because Bo Bichette wants to get paid,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I just want more out of this group, and I'm sick and tired of Jays Nation just being okay with mediocrity. I want more.
Yeah.
Now if they go now if they go get aggressive and make some crazy big
That's
trade.
what I'm saying. That could be
Now,
a whole different ball game.
but to Jacob's point, now, if they go make a crazy trade and go bring in some top name player and trade up their prospect, and then they don't win the division, now I'm with Jacob. If we go like bring in some guy, like let's say, I don't think he would come here, but let's say we bring in Ryan McMahon from the Colorado Rockies. You add to this lineup, you trade all your future prospects at this point because now you are trying to chase the division, and then you end up in the wild card and you lose 2 games. Then I'm totally with you. But I'm just looking at this team right now. I still think this team is, let's be honest with ourselves, this team is overperforming, whether you like it or not. This team should not be in the position. This team should probably be under 500 with the run differential, with the way the roster is constructed. This team wasn't expected to do what they've done. They've done it. They've overperformed. Now it's going to be a matter of if they can skim their way through the rest of the season and try to get themselves in the playoffs because they put themselves in a position to make the playoffs. If they miss the playoffs, I'm with Jacob. They can't miss the playoffs. Making the playoffs is bar none. They have to do that.
I agree with that. Right?
No, but I'm saying though, I don't think we should just be with where we are right now, leading the division going into the All-Star break. I don't think just making the playoffs is enough. I think they have to win a round. Where we are right now, if you go into even if they win the wild card series, I will take it. I just want to see progression. And if losing in the wild card again is not progression to me, because under this Vladdy Bichette era, because this has been the era, and out of this, I want more than what's been done. And I don't know if that means maybe you think the team's good and the coaching's bad and then you fire the manager. I don't know. But I think the Jays, and again, we're talking what we should be talking about in September and October and July. But at the end of the day, yeah, maybe the Jays have overperformed, but now if they can just perform and go 6-4 every 10 games, which I think is doable for this club. I really do, because the pitching's been really good. Like if you actually look at your run against, they're comparable to the Boston Red Sox have a run against have allowed 430 runs. We've allowed 423. The Yankees have allowed 390. We've allowed the 423. Those are comparable numbers. The pitching's been very good for the Jays this year.
100%.
And look, I'll be honest, I would actually put Barrios against almost any pitcher in the MLB right now. I think he's a top-notch pitcher.
Yeah,
for today.
Okay, yeah, today he wasn't very good, but I mean, every pitcher can have an off night. Maybe he had to stay up late in a hotel room, in a locker room, and that's why he lost. Who knows?
Maybe he was sweeping on cardboard.
But at the end of the day, I'm worried right now with the Jays because as I remember last year, they went on this big run and then they fell apart because at one point they were close to the division last year. And then they completely fell apart. They didn't even make the playoffs. Dan, you keep saying it was so many years ago that last time they made the playoffs. It was 2 years ago. And if you just paid Vladdy Guerrero Jr. $500 million, not $500,000, not $100 million, $500 million, $500 million. Yeah, you cannot pay him $500 million and say, "Oh, just do your best, bud. It's okay. Have a cookie." No, you got to perform.
No, I get it. I think Lane nailed it on the head. For me, it depends what happens on trade deadline.
Not an excuse, because I think this team should be better than what it is. I look at this team on paper. I see a lot of talented guys, even with the injuries.
You thought I was on quack when I said 98 wins, and now you think we should be better than the division league?
No, their run differential should be better than what it is. Absolutely.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm talking about run differential.
Okay.
At the end of the day, I'm very curious to see. Let's hope Kirk and Vladdy both have a good All-Star game and All-Star festivities. Let's hope that
Vladdy wins the home run derby. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Let's hope the Jays can just, regroup. But I hope we're not having this conversation next week about how the Blue Jays have now lost 4 or 5 straight, and now they're looking on the outside in. It could happen. So that's all I'm kind of getting at. But you
San
know,
Francisco Giants are the next one, so we'll see what happens there.
They're a good
Kind of a
team.
500 club, right?
They're a good team.
yeah, but the Jays need to beat good teams.
I agree. Yeah.
You swept the Yankees. You should be able to win. You should be able to win 2 against the Giants.
Oh, I agree with you. Yeah, 100%.
But you know who can't seem to win? The Edmonton Oilers, because more goalies are off the market. It's been reported the Oilers are not going after Carter Hart, so I'll take that as a victory. I think that is a smart decision.
Yes.
However, they did not get Shelovs from Vancouver. Pittsburgh got him for Stillman and a 4th-round draft pick.
What the?
Cool.
Oh my god.
There was rumors they were going after Sorokin. Sorokin's agent has said there has been no discussion of trades with Sorokin from the Islanders. I don't know what Edmonton's doing. I think the Penguins actually picked up a great move in bringing in Shelovs, a young goalie with a lot of upside. Yeah. They don't have a goaltending was really bad for them last year. The only thing this does make me wonder, I'm assuming now Tristan Jarry will be available. Does Edmonton maybe go after Tristan Jarry?
God.
He's probably the best goalie available right now.
I don't know as much as step up from Skinner.
He's available.
Okay.
Who's better that's available? We went over that.
That made me so sick. I have to turn off my camera.
Get Cujo out of retirement.
You know, apparently there's been 10 teams that are trying to get Marc-Andre Fleury to come out of retirement.
I know.
Pay him up to $5 million.
I know.
I would.
The only thing I wonder with Marc-Andre Fleury, I wonder if he'll come back at like trade deadline just to try to win another cup. Play in the Spangler Cup, get ready to go, and then come back at trade deadline.
I think he should come back now. I really do.
And he wants to be with his kids. Let them in.
Blah, blah, blah. Your kids are going to be alive forever. Kids are going to outlive you, hopefully. You got tons of time to spend time with your kids. Go play more hockey.
Oh, my gosh. But big ups.
You know, right.
Big ups to the Penguins. I think this is a great move for them. I still think they need to do more because you got to get some players from Sid the Old Man Kid to play with. But right now, look, you went out and got a goalie who you think's for your future, who also has upside now. I think this is a great move for Pittsburgh. Vancouver clearly thinks that Thatcher Demko is going to be healthy all year. They better hope they're right.
Well, just a shout out to Seawarf. He did win the Memorial Cup. Calder Cup, my bad. He won the Calder Cup. And he not just won, he was MVP, bro.
He played outstanding.
He was well over 900 save percentage, only 2 goals against Ablitz.
Multiple shutouts.
He just dominated. I think he was 16-7 in the playoff one. Like, he was insane.
Weird thing is with Shelovs, if you actually look, he's very good in big games. Even if his numbers in general are jumping off the page, he did win bronze for Latvia in the World Hockey Championship.
Latvia.
The last time the Canucks were in the playoffs and Demko was hurt, what a surprise.
Yeah.
And Casey DeSmith was playing like crap. And Shelovs came in and played very well and actually stole a couple games in those series for Vancouver and helped them advance to the second round. Yeah. So I think Pittsburgh's got a real gamer here.
I think this is a great
don't know where Edmonton goes from here because I don't think there's a goalie available. I think they're going to stick with Skinner and Pickard.
I think it's a great trade to Pittsburgh, and I don't know why Vancouver got so little for him. He's got to be worth more a 4th round pick and a prospect, I would think.
I don't know.
Yeah, literally.
Unless the only thing I'm thinking is maybe you wait till like the trade deadline or maybe 20 games in where a team is struggling.
Yeah.
Like maybe a team like Utah, you try to go get Vemelka. You see what you can get from Vemelka, or maybe I keep saying it. I know we're probably gonna get nasty emails to our email. I hope Jacob never said what our email address is, but I think you should just
phone number.
Well, good. Well, they can call it, but they can't put a voicemail. But I keep saying this, and everyone's been saying I'm wrong, but let's just go get Cam Talbot back. He wasn't that bad. He was bad for you for 1 year. Outside that, his numbers were fantastic. He went to Detroit. His numbers are fantastic.
I would be okay with Cam Talbot again.
Even if you play him as a backup. He's got to be way better than
Skinner and
Calvin Pickard. He's a huge upgrade on Pickard. Even if you wanted to run Skinner and Talbot as your 1-2 and you play the hot hand, at least you have a goalie that has a potential that has shown he can put up a 920 plus save percentage season
I
on
agree with
Detroit, whose defense is horrifically bad.
Well, so's Edmonton.
Yeah, I know, but at least you have some player. At least Edmonton is a team that can make the playoffs and contend with a proper team from. Like, they still have a team that plays well on paper and on this compared to the Detroit Red Wings.
Detroit is so bad. Justin Hall is one of our top defensemen. Okay,
Unpopular opinion: Detroit is
Please,
going
Liam.
to make the playoffs this year.
Oh boy,
John Gibson is going to fix that team. He's exactly
might.
I forgot about Gibson. Yeah.
a true bona fide number one goalie, and he's going to make them a playoff team.
Call me crazy,
You might.
but do you know who I think could make a playoff push this year? I'm not saying they're going to make the playoffs, but someone I think it could be entertaining up to the last week. I think it's the San Jose Sharks. I don't know why Chicago didn't take San Jose's plan and copy and paste. They got Dmitry Orlov at $6.5 million. They got Jeff Skinner at $3 million. They brought in Ryan Reaves. Those are great players to play with Pellegrini and Will Smith and all that. Why not give those players a Connor Bedard?
Dan, I love you, but Ryan Reaves is going to get 12 points if he's lucky.
I'm okay with that. I'll be happy he gets 12 points. If he's there defending,
Dan loves mediocrity, ladies and gentlemen. No, San Jose will be better than last year. They will not be even anywhere close for a playoff spot, but they will be better. And the Leafs trading Ryan Reaves, it just does two things. Number one, Ryan Reaves causes too much drama because he likes to go to dinner and then pillow talk about it with the media. It also clears just under $2 million in cap space.
1.35.
Whatever. It clears one. Mr. Calculator corrects me. 1.35.
So,
it does the two things you want it to do. And like I said to you guys before, I think the Leafs roster is staying the way it is up until closer to trading deadline, unless they can go get a guy that they desperately want. There's been rumors about them getting Roslovic, but I think he's going to get between $6 to $7 million since he's been holding out this long, and I don't think Toronto's going to want to pay him that.
Holy cow, he's not worth that.
On this market, he is.
Yeah, I guess so.
And going back to Ryan Reaves, okay, whatever happened. But when the Leafs first got Ryan Reaves, I agreed with it because they were a team that didn't have a lot of snarl, right? They were a team that was mostly Kyle Dubas, skill oriented,
Sault Ste. Marie.
Sault Ste. Marie. They were a team that was built off of almost like a model of skill and statistics and special statistics that was built off to make this team look good. So they needed somebody like a Ryan Reaves who could fight, because everyone would go fight and go, oh, a fight! Oh no, what do I do? So they did need a guy. But now, you've got, now with Brad Sherliving, you've got guys like Chris Tanev who will stand in front of 1,000 pucks and block until all his teeth fall out. You've got Max Domi. You've got Nicholas Waugh. You've got Scott Lawton. You've got guys that are going to fight. You got bigger guys. You got tougher guys. You went and got, your team is a lot tougher now than it's ever been. You've got a lot of snarl. So what does Ryan Reaves really bring to this team other than sitting in the press box and having nice popcorn, which the Scotiabank Arena has really good popcorn. If you ever go to the Leafs game, get the popcorn. It's 100% cannot miss.
Ryan Reaves is a taco guy. He loves his taco.
I'm just saying. I know the popcorn's really good. But other than sitting and enjoying the nice popcorn that they make there, I don't really think he provides anything. And
I think especially the way he was talking in the media this offseason, I think you had to move him.
Yeah, and again, we'll never know based off what Mitch Marner said. I don't know if that's true or not. Some people are saying it isn't. I think it is. I think he was a part of this tampering thing. A lot of people think I'm crazy, but
it makes sense.
I am dashing. I may not be crazy. I am dashing, but I don't know that. But I do what I do. I just think it was time to move on. Ryan Reaves isn't playing every night. He's sitting in the press box. There's really no need for him on this team. Let him go. Let him go be in San Jose. He can mentor Macklin Celebrini. Yeah. He can mentor those kids. They're going to need a mentor. They need a guy to help them through the rough times of the schedule. Yeah. I think it's a good pickup for the Sharks. I think it's for time for this to move on. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah.
And I think if you're
I
the
want it
Toronto
back.
Maple Leafs,
I need 2 cents.
I think now with the Leafs,
Actually,
No,
give me
this
5
is gonna
cents.
be-
If I need it.
just don't be panicked to make another move.
Yeah.
If there's no one available that makes your team better, that fits your budget, then leave the team the way it is. Maybe see how Nick Robertson will perform on the second line. Maybe see if Max Domi can remember to not take 80,000 stupid penalties a game.
I think he's
And
going to
also, too, you got to remember, too, I think they maybe need to start refocusing and getting Anthony Stolar signed. He's on the last year of his deal. And if you can't get him signed, do you consider moving him?
Yeah.
I'm not saying now, Lane, but if you're 40 games in and you know he's not coming back, you got to think about it.
Well, I was talking to Jacob off camera about this.
No, you weren't. That's a lie.
Yeah, it was not about Anthony Stock, but the Stanley Cup situation. And I feel like this is the first time in 25 years since we've seen the salary cap in the NHL. In fact, we're going in the offseason into a new season. The Leafs have cap space.
True.
First time ever. So I gotta give Brad Tree living a lot of credit. And $5 million, they have $5.3 million right now. That's nothing to sneeze at. You can get a half decent player for that. Like if Jeff Skinner just signed for $3 million. I think Jeff Skinner would be a nice fit on this team. But like what Jacob says, much as I haven't been the biggest fan of him, give Nick Robinson a shot. He played well last year.
He's going to be on this team.
Sign him for $2.2 million, 2.3, 2.5. Get him out $2.5 million. Put him on a second line. See if he can hit 20 goals.
And you know what, too? You're expecting improvements from Matthew Nyes and Bobby McMahon as well.
Yeah, Bobby
so
McMahon.
I'd kind of say, like, if you're the
His contract's up the end of this year, too.
Leave this team the way it is for a little bit, and let's see how they are 30, 40 games in.
Because he's going to get paid. He's only 1.3 right now.
It depends, Dan. Bobby McMahon had 20 goals in the regular season, none in the playoffs. Which Bobby McMahon are we going to see?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Right? So time will tell. But I think Tree Living
was
the right thing by not falling to Leaf media pressure and trying to make a deal that just doesn't need to be made.
I agree.
But I do want to move on and go back to the football field, the ones with 55 yards. Not 50,
yeah! Touchdown! Somebody.
And I would like to go over with you guys my top 10 players in the league after 6 weeks.
Ooh.
And so my top 10 is I'm just going to say it. It's odd.
You are an odd person, so I'm not surprised.
So number 1, Kenny Lawler.
That would be accurate.
Number 2, Bo Levi Mitchell. Number 3, Vernon Adams Jr.
Okay, I do have a question about before you go on. No, because I did, before we move on to, you don't think Vernon Adams has played better than Bo Levi Mitchell? Because I might make that argument.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Not right now, the touchdown-interception ratio, Bo Levi Mitchell's only thrown 1 interception.
Wow, that's true, too.
Right?
What about the completion in yards? Like, wow.
Mitchell's actually ahead of Adams right now.
Is he actually?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy. I would never
guess.
Remember, going into this week, the leading pass yardage guy was Nick Arbuckle. That stat can be very deceiving. So there's my top 3. Number 4, Dedrick Mills. He is the best running back in the CFL right now.
Ooh.
Number 5, here's the first one I think everyone's going to think I'm crazy. Chatfield Jr. out of the Toronto Argonauts, leading the league in sacks with 5. He is
I don't think that's crazy. He's played phenomenal.
Difference maker.
Yeah, he's played really well.
Number 6,
I do
Jamal
think a little
Peters.
crazy with Mills at Volvo. I mean, you look at Buckler in Vancouver today, won 170 yards.
At the end of the day, Mills has been the most consistent running back this entire season.
Yeah,
consistently rushing over 6 yards to carry every game.
Yeah.
Number 6, Jamal Peters, leading the league in interceptions with 3.
I loved him as Argo, great guy.
Number 7 and 8, I've been flip-flopping, so I'm actually going to change the way I wrote it down because I by accident flipped them. Number 7 is Geno Lewis out of Ottawa. Ooh, yes, he isn't getting all the touchdowns because Ottawa's offense isn't electric.
I can see that.
But he's playing very well.
He is, yeah.
Number 8
yards in Hamilton.
I'm going Coxie. I think Coxie is the second best 50-50 ball catcher in the CFL. Right now it's Kenny Lawler, then it's DeMonte Coxie. Number 9, AJ Ouellette of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. If you shut down Ouellette, you shut down the Roughriders, and that has to mean something.
I agree with that. Yep.
Number 10, and I can't believe I'm doing this now because this is not where I would have had him at the start of the year. Nathan Rourke.
Oh.
He's
He's
thrown
played
for over
well.
300 yards already twice this season. He's dominating as a starter. Very little interceptions, always multiple touchdowns. He's definitely the third best quarterback in the CFL as of right now.
You don't think it's Trevor Harris, even though he likes to complain
No.
about
I think Nathan Rourke is better than Trevor Harris, and he's better than Zach Collaros right now.
Wow.
And he's better than Trey Ford.
What about
Brady Oliveira's not on that list.
No, he's not. For me right now, he's not a top 10 player.
what about the Montreal quarterback? I know he's been hurt.
Davis
but-
Alexander, not for me yet because he's missed 2 weeks.
Wow. Do what you might think I'm crazy? I would almost put Whitney McManus on that list because
He's
I think the
injured. He's
Argos
been injured too much.
miss him more than Chad Kelly.
Yeah, but I can't put guys on the list who aren't even healthy right now.
That's true.
Well, we're not healthy and team falls apart. It shows how important they are.
But they can't be the best player in the league if they're not playing.
No, that's true. Yeah.
So there's my top 10 list. Again, if you disagree,
Interesting.
you know what? I'm challenging both of you for Thursday's episode to give me your top 10 list. And let's compare.
Gosh. That's tough.
And in the comments, because
I
this
mean,
will
not
be
even know
short.
10 players. It's
Give
going to be
me
like
your-
Ty Cat 1, Ty Cats 2, Ty Cats 3.
Give me your
Argos,
top 10
yeah.
list. Let me know. Send us a message at streakersislandpodcast@gmail.com or on any of our social medias.
Oh, so it's not the texting email one.
You mean the 1-800-@gmail.com? No.
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about.
That's like noneatfake.com by Call Me Kevin when he plays The Bachelor, the game, which is a video game, Lane, in case you're wondering, where you can win up to $1 million.
Ooh, I need $1 million. Can I wear it away at there?
You got to pay $2 to play it.
Oh, I'm down. If I can win $1 million.
Well, it's not real $1 million. It's
It
$1
is
million.
actually, Dan. Apparently, you can actually win real cash in that game. Yeah.
Holy cow, bye.
Yeah, I'm
Well,
leaving too.
Before we go, I do.
Oh,
Dan, don't swear over it. You almost swore. He's like, "Oh, he didn't. Good job." Lane, you have some wrestling news for me. Now, the only thing I know about wrestling, it's you don't punch like the way Dan is that I know what The Rock is cooking. I can't see John Cena.
Yeah.
And if Vin Diesel was a wrestler, he would not be drenched in baby oil like Diddy. He would be drenched in Corona beer and family vibes. But
Pretty
Lane, what's
much.
going on in the
and the
wrestling
Hulk has
world
the
right
best
now?
mustache.
Well, I hope I'm not stealing Dan's vibe here from the Island Mindset, but I did want to give credit there as of today, if we were recording, it is July 14th. But on July 13th, for the first time in 7 years, the WWE decided to apply to fan pressure here and give the women a all pay-per-view show, which
Whoa,
means
interesting.
every match tonight, well, not tonight, but the day of recording, we're recording this on a Sunday night. So as of yesterday, every match on the show was all female performers, and all the women, all the referees were all women. The commentators were women because they don't
Wow.
have women commentators. But every role they could put women in, women were put in position to do. And I gotta be honest, I watch a lot of wrestling and I watch a lot of the WWE programming here that we hopefully might be having a show. If you guys are interested, let us know on the Streakers Island podcast. I would love to talk with you guys. But I will give them 100% credit. These women, they get told that they're only there for sex appeal. They're only there because they wear skimpy clothing, and they're only there because they have nice bodies. But they went out there and they absolutely tore the house down tonight. That crowd was the loudest crowd I've heard in months watching that show. Everyone was enjoying it. I've read countless reviews how this is a 10 out of 10 wrestling show, that if any of you buddy would have went on Netflix and put it on for the 4 hours, even if you weren't a wrestling fan, you would have enjoyed what you saw tonight. It was clean. Everything was done perfection. There was no mistakes. There was no errors where you're like, what is everything? Everything was smooth. Everything was fantastic moves. The dynamics between the wrestlers and the stories they were telling between the girls and what they were trying to perform, and the way they were performing up there tonight, with all the stories that they had that they were trying to tell you tonight, connected on a level. So I wanted to give a huge shout out to the women tonight, because they're always told that they're not as good as the men, that they're not as good as John Cena, they're not as good as The Rock, they don't belong there. But they went out there and I will say, they killed it. They performed better than anything I could have seen. I had a blast of 4 hours. It was an enjoyable show. I could have watched it for another hour. So I wanted to give a huge shout out to the women, a huge shout out to the fans. And I think the one thing that the wrestling community does good is the one thing wrestling does good is they listen to the fans. The fans have been crying for this for 9 years, to bring it back, to bring the women, give them a chance. And they did, and they performed with flying colors. So I just want to give a quick shout out to WWE. And if you want more WWE, we might have a show in August coming up for SummerSlam where we'll be talking about more wrestling. So we might be seeing that on the Streakers Island podcast.
So cool. Wow.
Well, that sounds awesome, Wayne.
And
I'm glad you brought that up to attention. And actually, it does make me wonder, though, will this become more of a thing, and will we see female wrestling commentators?
You might,
right? Like maybe this will open the door, kind of like how the PWHL was really opened the door for women's hockey, right? And now we're starting to see more and more women play hockey. Same with the WNBA, especially when they're able to hook in a big fish like Caitlin Clark, who really is taking that to the next level. Maybe WWE, the women's side, will find that big wrestler that will just take that over the top. And I always say, if you put out good content, people will watch. And it sounds like they put on a great show. And
the thing is, they do have talented people. They do have talented women that I know you guys won't know, but they do have very talented women that can put on, like Rhea Ripley. I know you guys won't be like, who's Rhea Ripley? But you also know Bailey. We saw her at the NHL draft when she did the picks for the San Jose Sharks. Like, they definitely do have. They also, I don't know if I guess you know Ric Flair. They also have his daughter, Charlotte Flair. So they do have a lot of big names that are performing, but they've always been kind of under the men, right? The men, like especially like the Rocks, the Stone Colds, the John Cenas, these guys, they always seem to get that next level above the women. The women never get treated with the main event that the men usually do. But this was a special night where they were given the floor to go out there. And again, like I said, it's been they did this 9 years ago and they forgot about it. They haven't done it. I'm hoping tonight the WWE sees the reaction from online, saw how it went out there. There was over 7,000 people in a 12,000 seat stadium. They sold it out well. The crowd was loud. Everything, all the positive feedback online. I hope this is something that we can continue to do every year, because they totally deserve it.
100%. I'll just be straight up. I don't know anything about wrestling, so I'm joining Lane on this adventure, and I'm hoping to learn about it. So, but just from hearing about this, I think this is fantastic. And you know what? I'm going to piggyback on the Iron Mindset. I'm going to change it up. I had something else written in my notes, but I can talk about that another day. I think women in sports, I think it's just phenomenal. And we're seeing it in hockey too. You have Haley Wickenheiser, who's the skating coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs. I forget her name, but we have an assistant coach that's a female in Seattle, for example, right? So as pro women's sports get bigger, you're going to see women in different areas of sports. Look how we have women commentators like Cheryl Pounder on TSN, for example, right? Whereas we would have not seen, and not just a commentator like, oh, here's the highlight of the night. No, she's a full-blown analyst that does the quiz with Jeff O'Neill, right? So we're going to see more and more women have a more bigger impact in sports. And just something I want to say too, a different sport was tennis going on this weekend. Wimbledon. It was one of the big grand slams in tennis. We don't talk about tennis much on the island here, but we should. It's a great sport. I really enjoy it. And the first time ever, I'm sorry, I don't know the name, so forgive me for this. But the first time ever, a woman won a game 6-0 back-to-back, which is insanity. Like in tennis, you have to win 6 games minimum, right? You do. And they just completely blew out. First time in history that has happened in Wimbledon. So that's a really huge thing. And back to Jacob's point, the WNBA, it is a WNBA All-Star break this week, right? So competing like with baseball, I mean, where have we ever seen that happening, right? So,
well, and also too, I don't know if you boys heard about it, but there was a recent game in WNBA. They actually had to change venues because they needed to sell more tickets. Because
right,
everyone wanted to see this game
Caitlin Clark,
with
baby.
Caitlin Clark. And that's what I'm saying with maybe women's wrestling. Maybe they can find that like one superstar to kind of
They
take them
have
to
it.
that next plateau. And Lane, if you're saying they have it, then I can't wait to see what the WWE does with women's sports. And I just got to say, I love to see the way women's sports has really taken off in the last 4 to 5 years. Like, and I know women's sports been around longer than that, but I mean, the way it's became commercialized and becoming so much more popular. And it's so important for these little girls out there who, you know, they want to see themselves, right? And now they're seeing themselves as an athlete. And that's just absolutely great to see. And I think it is the perfect way to wrap up the Streakers On podcast today.
Yeah,
you know, just saying, make sure you
get
support,
involved in sports.
support men's sports, you support women's sports, just support one another, love one another. Don't go chasing waterfalls because they're stationary, so they don't move anyways. I'm Jacob Moore, the self-proclaimed sports analyst, joined by Lane Dashin-Co and Mr. Moore for your money.
Woo!
See you back on Thursday.
Bye-bye.